I know math is not the Conservative Party of Canada's forte.
And the budget will balance itself.
So,
Well, thank you, Minister Champagne. I know I say this every time. I hate following Francois. He's got that energy that just lifts the room, and we're so grateful. We're grateful to be here today with our friends and partners from Asahi Kasei. Prime Minister, always an honor. It's always good to see you because it's generally with a checkbook here, so that's good. The Premier, I have to say, I've said this every place that we ever go to, Premier Ford is the best closer that you could ever imagine on a deal. So we're always grateful to be standing here with the Premier because it means we've closed yet another deal. I want to say hello to all our colleagues and all our friends. Minister Tassi, great to see you. Ambassador, Consul General. It's just so wonderful to see everybody here today. Obviously, we welcome this investment by Asahi Kasei to build the nation's first EV battery separator plant right here in Port Colborne. So thank you to Port Colborne and the region of Niagara for being such incredible partners in helping to secure this investment. Days like these don't happen without the tireless work from every level of government. And you need to know that this absolutely could not have happened without Mayor Steele and Regional Chair Jim. Thank you to both of you for all of your efforts and all of your teams for making this such a wonderful success. Congratulations, you brought this home. We've all worked for years to build up the relationships that make investments like these possible. And today's announcement is the culmination of a year of building Ontario's relationship with Asahi Kasei. We're excited to have you here in our province. We thank you for putting your faith in the people here in Port Colborne. But as you've heard Francois, one of our greatest champions, say, these decisions are not made easily and they all take time. And you've heard from everybody on some of the reasons, but the one thing we all knew going into this was it's going to be all about those relationships that we build. And last year, along with our team from Invest Ontario, we traveled to Japan to promote Ontario as a premier destination for EV battery component investments. And we discussed Ontario's commitment to our hopeful partner, Asahi Kasei. We talked about all that Ontario has to offer, the land, you've heard this, the clean energy, the critical minerals, the EV ecosystem. We checked all of the boxes to create an electric vehicle right here in Ontario. And last July, we met again here in Toronto. Then last fall, we met again here in Niagara. It was a wonderful, wonderful session here in Niagara. And that's the day, along with Asahi, along with the developers BMI and the folks from Niagara,
How many scandals do you think Trudeau has had? I have another video over here showing how many, and it is a lot. And I think shame needs to be brought back into Canada because he has no shame anymore. And I think it just trickles down to everyone underneath him. And that's what's really frustrating about Trudeau. And as far as an election is concerned, obviously there should have been one a year ago. But do you think it'll really be in October 2025? Because his steam, like all he has to do is smile and for the camera, go on his vacations. There's going to be a new love in his life coming up, probably, because he has to, because he needs to take attention away from himself. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think. Let's go back to the video.
Talked about the land and really to further the details of the project. And that was a really pivotal day, because that's the day, in my opinion, where we went from sales mode to partnership. And that was a really true momentous moment. Throughout the winter, discussions continued, and this April we were back in Japan to meet again. Kuro-san, you need to know it was an absolute pleasure working with your team, whether on our trips to Japan or here in Ontario. Matsuyama-san, you, Sam, and your team were unbelievable professionals. You represented Asahi Kasei in a way, Kuro-san, that you should be very, very proud of your team. This investment is a game changer for Ontario's emerging EV ecosystem. You know, how many times have we said game changer now, week after week, month after month, as it is year after year? $43 billion here in the province of Ontario alone. And now today we add another critical link in our end-to-end EV supply chain. So on behalf of Ontario, thank you to Asahi Kasei for recognizing the automotive excellence that lives here in our province and for becoming a key player in our EV revolution. You know, you've heard it before, the real work starts today. Arigato. Yep. I guess I should have said arigato after I introduced Minister Tassi is coming up next.
I know math is not the Conservative Party of Canada's forte.
And the budget will balance itself.
So,
Well, good afternoon, and thank you everyone for joining us for this very exciting announcement for the Niagara region and for Canada. I'm pleased to be joined by two of Niagara's local champions. You've heard about them before, Vance Badaway and Chris Biddle, and I can tell you that they advocate tirelessly in Ottawa for investments in this region. And that is why, as Francois Philippe has said, you can see that the smiles on their faces are bigger than ever. I'm also pleased to be joined by my colleagues, of course, Minister Champagne, Francesco Sorbera, Manny Sidhu, and Prime Minister. It's always a pleasure, especially when we're getting together for these fantastic investments like the one we're talking about today. As the Minister responsible for Federal Economic Development Agency for Southern Ontario, I'm always happy to have the opportunity to highlight the talent, the potential, and important investments in Southern Ontario. In fact, Southern Ontario has been a powerhouse of manufacturing innovation that makes significant contributions to our country's economic growth and prosperity. In the automotive space, Southern Ontario is a leader. You've heard about that from the previous speakers. In fact, 95% of Canadian automotive parts and supplier facilities are located in Southern Ontario. The region is the home to a well-integrated automotive supply chain. And now we stand together on the cusp of the global shift towards sustainable transportation. Southern Ontario has a unique opportunity to lead the charge in the production of electric vehicles, and that is exactly what we are going to do. Yes, it's about reducing emissions and combating climate change, which are crucial goals. It's also about seizing the economic opportunities that lie before us. And I know that my provincial counterpart, we've heard Minister Fedeli, is laser focused on this as well. It's great to work collaboratively. I know many speakers have said that, but Minister Fedeli and Premier Ford, when we work together, we achieve much greater things. The sky is the limit here, folks, and that is what we are achieving today. When we invest in the production of electric vehicles, we can create good-paying jobs for Canadian workers today and for generations to come. In addition, we are seizing every opportunity to support entrepreneurs and business leaders by creating an end-to-end supply chain. And I think this is an important point. It's the opportunities that come because of these significant investments. The working collaboratively and working with partners is so vitally important. And we have amazing opportunities at our fingertips. We're not going to let those slip away. We're going to seize them. Partners like Flavio leading the Automotive Parts Manufacturing Association, local economic development leaders like George and Marco, municipal leaders like Jim and Bill, and industry leaders at Asahi Kasei, they are paving a strong path forward. So kudos-san and Sam, thank you so much for choosing.
I know math is not the Conservative Party of Canada's forte.
And the budget will balance itself.
So,
here to make this significant investment, we can assure you that this investment will provide benefits for generations to come. You know, we often hear about the affordability challenges. What I would like to say is I think the best way to combat affordability challenges is through strong economic development and job creation, and that's exactly what we are doing. I have every confidence that with hard work, talent, and dedication of the people of Southern Ontario, we can realize and seize every opportunity that will lead to strong economic growth, good-paying jobs, and a cleaner environment. Thank you so much for welcoming us here today. And now I'm pleased to introduce the Japanese Ambassador to Canada, Kenji Yamanuchi, who I know is very excited about the announcement that's being made today. Ambassador.
Good morning. Bonjour, kwekwe, ohayo gozaimasu. Such a special day. This is a day of victory for Port Colborne and Asahikase. I was told that this investment, $1.6 billion, is the biggest investment to Port Colborne. Congratulations. And also this new factory
And is Chrystia Freeland doing a good job? She is the finance minister and the vice president of Canada. And she is the one that just looks like her head is just spinning when she talks. It's always like trying to drag it on, never answer a question. And maybe they should have this I thought they would always do this. When they ask a question, say, do you mind after you finish it, if you give me 5 seconds to say if you answered it or not for our listeners? Because it is so frustrating. Everything is an infomercial with both of them. And that's something that I think needs to be stopped. Maybe the whole Constitution and the human rights and everything needs to be rewritten again after those two are gone, because this is just frustrating what they're doing. Anyway, let's go back to the video.